Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, how should I prepare to quit my job to do my own thing? I love this question because that's something that I did. For those of you who don't know my story, I'll give you a quick summary and then show you the lessons that I learned that will help you do the same thing. So from 1989 until 2004, I was an educator with the New York City Department of Education. And I had full tenure. I had an out of the classroom position. I could have coasted my entire adult life and been straight. The money was good. The hours were great. It gave me a lot of flexibility. I could have done what I wanted, but I wasn't happy because for me, the thrill and the pressure of creating my own income and living or dying from that was missing and absolutely necessary for me. A lot of people would have been comfortable and secure. I needed something more. So year 13, I made a decision that I was going to quit my job and I was going to do my own thing. I didn't know what my own thing was, but I gave my job 2 years notice. I said in 2 years, I'm leaving my job. And no one believed me. They thought I was foolish. But I gave myself a timeline because I knew that it would be easy to talk myself out of it or put it off if I didn't. Now, I'm going to tell you, 2 years is extremely fast. I mean, it goes by lightning fast, especially when you don't have a plan and you don't have the things in place to be able to quit your job. So most of that time, I kind of fumbled around, and then I kind of got it together in the last 6 months, and I was successful. So in 2004, I was able to resign my position, and I haven't had a job since. I've been on my own ever since. So what lessons did I learn in regards to what has to happen for you to be most successful in that regard? So one thing is you have to really be honest about where you are in regards to your knowledge base, because if you have no clue, and the person said to do my own thing, so your own thing could be starting a business, your own thing could be investing in real estate, your own thing could be whatever, it could be a lot of different things, but it's not having a job. You have to take time, and again, you could say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Less than that is really unrealistic because you have to take the time to educate yourself on totally new skills. I'd say 90 to 95% of skills that you acquire being an employee are totally useless when you're talking about doing your own thing, right? You've trained yourself your entire life to be a good employee. To be out on your own is a whole different ballgame. So I would say, number one, you have to take time to educate yourself. And when I say educate yourself, I'm not talking about just reading books or watching videos or taking classes. You absolutely should do those things. But you need to find someone you can apprentice under, someone you can volunteer with, and allow them to show you the inner workings of doing whatever it is that you want to do. So if it's real estate, it's real estate. If it's being a business owner, it's doing that. But understanding the day-to-day operations, understanding how to troubleshoot and the things that could go wrong, and dealing with, finance and employees and all the other things that come along with it. So number one, you have to spend some time educating yourself. And depending on where you're starting, that could take years, right? Take a couple of years. It could take more than that. The second thing I think you should do is create relationships and network, right? And so when I say create relationships and network, you're like, what? I thought you just said apprentice. Not that relationship, other relationships. So you will need to find relationships with lenders or investors. There's probably no business that can really grow large, whether you're talking about real estate or any other business, without somebody giving you the money up front. So you should network with people who are lenders and or investors. You should network with suppliers. You should network with other people in the industry to give you tips. You should network with any and everybody that's associated with the type of business or the type of venture that you're going into. So create relationships. So yes, somebody that you can apprentice under, but all the peripheral relationships. And it could be easy because they can start introducing you to people, right? So education, networking, I would say build up your credit and credibility, right? So why credit and credibility? A lot of times you're going to have to have some skin in the game, right? And so for credit, it's easier to be able to be a guarantor to get a loan when you don't have a business that's established than not. So if you can build your credit during that time, build your credit, build your credibility. What does that mean? That means that the relationships you created with investors, you have to show them that you have integrity. You have to show them that you know how to manage a business. You have to show them that you have the skills and the other relationships to support what you're trying to do, so they feel comfortable lending to you. The fourth thing I think that you should do is, obviously, I think create a very detailed plan. And when I say a plan, number one, how to acquire what you're trying to do. So whether it's real estate, whether it's a business, how do you actually build that? How do you get into that? But beyond that, you have to have a plan for how to maintain it and how to grow it. So what people don't understand is what gets you there won't keep you there. What keeps you there won't get you to the next level. So you need to have a plan to get you there. You have to have a plan to build the infrastructure and support system, not only to keep it alive, but for it to be able to grow. And when I say growth, it can be in the form of acquiring new clients, new investments. It could be going into expanding your product line if it's a business. You have to have a system for that. Because with that comes maybe more suppliers, more employees, more everything. So you have to have a plan that gets you to where you want to be, keeps you there without you losing it, and then how do you have a plan for growth? So having a very detailed plan that has 3 different levels to it is important. And I would say the fifth thing that most people drop the ball with is, what is your exit strategy? How do you plan to get? You're not going to stay there the rest of your life, right? You're not going to. Well, hopefully that's not your plan, to work until you're 105 years old. What's your exit strategy? Are you building this business to then sell it and to do something else? Are you building this business as a legacy for your kids? Are you building this business with the idea that you're going to be able to create enough income to create passive income to retire from it? What is your end goal for getting out of this business? And so that will dictate how you build the business and what you do with it and how much growth is necessary. So those are the 5 things that are really important. If you don't have those things in place, and of course, let me just say this, if you don't have enough money to carry you for, say, 6 months, and that means 6 months worth of your expenses, if you don't have enough money to carry you for 6 months worth of expenses as the business is ramping up, and you're reliant upon this new business or this new investment, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So you should have put away not just what traditionally was an emergency fund, which deals with emergencies, but enough income to cover every living expense for 6 months on top of that emergency fund. So that will give you a little breathing room and won't force you to make decisions that are not necessarily in your best interest because you're making decisions just to survive. So that's the advice I would give you. Those are the lessons that I learned. Some of them, like I said, most of them I didn't have in place ahead of time. I wish I had. It would have made the transition much easier. But I am so happy that I did it. I haven't had a job since 2004, and I will never, ever have to get a job. So hopefully this was helpful. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.